Hey guys, happy weekend, happy Saturday, and welcome to another Random Ramble. Here's your host, Mike Bowenski, and without further ado, let's get right down to it. You guys said that you liked the last one, so we're going to do it again. I enjoyed the hell out of it. Um, One of the first things I'd like to point out is some of the things that I see in my repair business that really drive me nuts. I mean, seriously. Okay, number one. This guy obviously needs some work, but he's a greenie and he's kind of banged up. But yeah, we'll put him back into shape. Well, I was checking him out after I first picked him up, and this is what I found. Seriously, come on. Don't twist him up to tighten him up. Just restring the darn thing. My God. Okay, enough said about that. Here's another one that's really fun. We got the muscle body here. Everybody loves muscle bodies nowadays. They weren't too big. I mean, when I got too old to play with GI Joe, it was right around the time these things came out, and I didn't think too much of them, but they seem to be very popular nowadays. So enough said. You see, look at this one's a nice shape in the bottom. I mean, the bottom's not all loosened up like everything. Look at that, pretty good, right? Yep. And we all know how the arms and the heads fall off because of them damn rubber connectors. However, if you have a muscle body like that, whatever the hell you do, don't glue the freaking arms and head back on, please. My God. In order to put this guy back together, I'm going to have to literally cut and Dremel this shit out of here. And it wrecks the shoulders. I've fixed probably a dozen that have been glued like this, and I have not yet once been successful in breaking the glue loose and getting these shoulder pieces out in one piece. Please don't do this, guys. Fix it the right way. Or at the very least, use hot glue or something that'll easily come apart. Don't epoxy them or use super glue. Or like this one, and it's to top it off, it's a black one, an AA. Somebody had used model glue. I literally had to cut the arms off and Dremel the shoulder hollows back out. It's fixable now, but the guy who bought it and sent it to me to fix has to find some new arms for it. Expensive, even for the white ones. Please don't do this. Fix it right. Or if you don't know how to fix it, send it to me or some other guy who knows how to do it. There's a lot of us out here who do these repairs. Next thing, talkers. Look closely at this talk unit. On the tape there, you see all that residue on there? You know what that is? WD-40. Do not use WD-40 to loosen up a stuck talker. Please. WD-40 will eat the voice tape. It will soften the plastic and the needle will tear up them grooves quick. This one was especially a pet peeve to me because, well, even though I'd gotten it for free in a lot, or I shouldn't say for free, but I got it cheap in a lot, it was a Navy talker. I was able to get him to talk enough to understand what it was. But the voice tape is shot. There's no way he's ever going to sound right again. In addition, WD-40 also eats the pads, the flywheel pads, and it just wrecks them. Don't do it. Take the thing apart and fix it right, or send it to somebody who knows how to fix them. Enough said about that. Next thing, please do not use magic marker. Now I realize that kids drew beards on the painted heads and they colored into places where the missing flock was, and to fix their toys when they were kids. However, this one here had the hair simply colored over with magic marker to make it black hair. And you can see the head's in pretty decent shape otherwise. And I'm going to have to try and use a zip cream treatment to get this color out of the plastic. Don't use magic marker to redo the eyebrows or to anything like that. Use paint. Do it right. This wrecks the heads. And there ain't enough of these guys left out there to be wrecking them. But please don't do these things. Sometimes they make me laugh, but when I've got to fix them, it kind of like, what were you thinking, man? So anyway, my next little thingy on this random ramble, I call out to somebody who I forgot to call out to in the last one, and I want to say hello and thank you to my friend Angelo Deanna Bailey. Ange, I hope I'm pronouncing your name right, because I've never had to say it before. I've only seen it typed. Anyhow, Angelo's a pretty good guy. He does photo comics, he does videos on YouTube, and he's also pretty active in the groups. He made a set with this uniform, a Joe set, one of his custom Joe sets. And I asked him about the uniform because I really liked it. And he said to me, do you want one? I said, yeah. And he said, oh, okay, I'll give you mine, or I'll give you one of mine. I'm like, holy shit. Thanks very much, Andrew. I appreciate it. This is a nice outfit. You will see it in a photo story next summer. And I also like to thank Angelo for inspiration. He does very nice photo comics. They're very creative and very well done. And seeing him doing that stuff is one of the things that got me out there making photo stories. I've done more than a few, and it's a lot of fun. And I really like doing the outdoor photography thing with my Joes. And just the one who gave me the initial inspiration. So thanks again very much. Appreciate your friendship, buddy. Hope you have a Merry Christmas. Okay, now for some more positive stuff. I have been looking for a while to find some proper cord to replace the cord on the Abominable Snowman and Deep Freeze sleds and the rope for the winch on the training tower and stuff like that. Today I found this at Hobby Lobby. It's 1.2 millimeter cotton twisted cord. Looks exactly like vintage as far as I can tell. And it also should take dye pretty well, so I can dye it yellow to use for the ATV winch rope and stuff like that. I paid like $4.49, and I believe this is 400 yards of this stuff. Good deal. Got it at Hobby Lobby. Should work very well for vintage replacements. Another thing I found today at Hobby Lobby was this. Obviously, fixing talkers, you go through a lot of bead chain for the dog tag chains. This stuff here, a little more expensive. It was $11.99, but I got 10 yards of this stuff. Should make plenty of dog tag chains. And checked it; it's the right size. Another good product. And lastly, in the jewelry department, I found these chains. This looks to be pretty close to the exact size for the trailer hitch chains on the 5-star Jeep and for the cage door for the White Tiger Hunt cage. It will be damned if I remember what I paid for it, but this stuff will work that too. Look for a video for replacing these soon. Anyhow, that's some good new stuff that I found. Excuse me a moment. Must change the laundry again. Alright, next thing I'd like to touch on is boxes. Everybody loves a good vintage box, but they're expensive, and there's very few good ones out there. I do have a couple. This one here was gifted to me by my friend Ted Manker. Sorry. Appreciate it, Ted. Thank you very much. I really haven't figured out how to display it yet. I don't have the room. But as you can see, it's a typical condition for a vintage box. It's got some watermarks. It's kind of beat up, but it ain't terrible. I guess I just have to say that if I didn't get it for free, I probably wouldn't have bought it, because it's just, not worth the money. But there is a better alternative. I get these style of boxes from Pawtucket Platoon. I don't recall where he gets them from himself, but these are nice. They're cheap. They're well made. You can get them for damn near any set. I've got, shit, I probably got 20 of these for various sets. They come in a coffin box style like this. They also come with some very nice reproduction paperwork. There's also the removal of boots here. Nice stuff. Anyways, I highly recommend these. They look great on display with your figures. I'm going to have to go ahead and do a video of my Joe room, even though it's not completely cleaned up and done yet, where I got a lot of these. But anyhow, repro custom boxes. Good stuff. All right. Another thing that I'd like to call to attention is rules and groups. I've got my own group, and I'm an admin in one other group. And I just want to point out that, I mean, every group has rules, and we got a lot of people who don't pay attention to them. Some groups allow anything. Some groups only allow vintage, and some groups, you know, are only about customs and stuff like that. But I've had recently, in the past few weeks, had to delete dozens of posts from people who don't follow the rules. Hey, in the original G.I. Joe collectors group, for example, you're not allowed to post the 3 3/4 inch 8-each Joes. There's been a rash of that in that group lately, and it's because newbies aren't reading the rules. Come on, guys, you join a group, read the dang rules. It makes life a lot easier for the admins, and it keeps the group focused on what the focus is supposed to be. In my view, it's kind of rude not to. So anyways, that's my take on that. Probably colored a bit by the fact that I have to do some of this, you know, removal of inappropriate posts and things like that, but it is what it is. Another thing that I've seen a lot of lately, not so much over the past couple years, but excuse me, is political stuff popping up in groups. In my group, there's no politics, period. I'm pretty conservative, but if you post pro-Trump stuff in my group, you're gone. If you post, you know, anti-Biden stuff in my group, you're gone. I don't care what the politics are. I don't want that stuff in the group, and I don't need it, you know, polluting any other group. There's plenty of places where you can cast out your political views and argue with people on the opposite side and all that kind of stuff. There is no place for that in this hobby. It bugs me that people would even think about doing that. So please don't. In this current political climate, things can get pretty heated, and we just don't need that in the hobby. Forget that stuff when you're playing with your figures. And I'd be willing to bet that there's probably a group somewhere where you can do that stuff and have fun with it, with your Joes. But again, not in the places where I go, and not in the groups that I admin. So enough on that too. Politics nowadays, well, no, it's not enough on that. I'm going to keep talking about it. Politics nowadays is extremely polarized, and it's extremely difficult to discuss it with anyone on the opposite side without big arguments and without insults and things like that. So let's keep it out of the hobby. It bugs me that people think that that that's the appropriate place for it. All right. Last thing I like to do, this little random ramble, is just show off some of the stuff, some of the paints and glues that I use for my various repairs. Credit goes to Stacy Armstrong, who is the best painted head repainter I've ever seen. For this tip, Liquitex acrylic paints for repainting vintage painted heads. This stuff works great. It spreads nice. It colors are pretty much right on the money. Thanks, Stacy, for the tip. I appreciate it. I highly recommend this stuff. You can get it at Hobby Lobby, Joann's, any of those kinds of places. I've also used it on things like this. The black barrel and clip and stuff is what do you call it? This stuff here, Mars Black. But anyhow, good stuff. Works well. Sticks good. All right, another kind of paints that I use. In fact, I use for this again, the brown that you see on there is this stuff. Text Testers Model Masters acrylic. It comes in a bunch of different colors. I get this at Hobby Lobby. The burnt umber color right here is great for the eyebrows on figures. This stuff here is great for wood imitation colors. This is burnt sienna. Other good acrylic paints. By the way, never use model paints on plastics like this, on the soft plastics that Joe is made out of. It will never dry, it'll stay sticky, and it's all shiny and doesn't look quite right. Another kind that I've used, Citadel acrylics. These paints are pretty good too, but they on the G.I. Joe heads, if you use them for hair, they need to be clear coated so that it doesn't want to peel off. It scratches real easy without a clear coat. Don't know why, but the colors are good, and it's more liquidy. This stuff here is more like a buttery, kind of melted, not melted butter, but soft butter texture. This stuff here is, total liquid. It spreads easier, and it's good for various other things as well. Glues for flocking. This stuff is the shit. This is Bob Smith epoxy, 30 minutes. I've mixed it a little less hardener so that the epoxy has some flexibility when it's dry, and so that when you squeeze the head, it doesn't crack. This stuff is not expensive. It's like $10 for two of these at Hobby Lobby, or $10.99 for a set of these at Hobby Lobby. Lasts a long time, and it's good for epoxying the other stuff too. It works on plastic, it works on wood. Good stuff. Highly recommend this shit. There's also a 10-minute version that I use for making quicker repairs, and again, good stuff. Last, I'd like to mention Gorilla Glue, which is a standby for a lot of guys. Gorilla Glue works great for this, and this is surprising to me when I learned this. Hold on, I'll grab something and show you. For cracks like this, where's the crack? Where's the crack? Where's the crack? There it is. Nope, that's not it. There it is, right there. For repairing the common shoulder cracks that you get in G.I. Joe shoulders, this stuff is phenomenal. You put it in there. I spread the crack a little bit with a screwdriver, and I squirt some in there. I stick the peg in the hole, and then put a clamp on it and squeeze it tight. The bicep will still spin like it should on the lower part, but it'll seal up these cracks. It's a little bit shiny, you can see it, but hey, you're gonna have a uniform on them anyway most of the time, right? It does do the job for that kind of thing. Some guys use this stuff for flocking, but I'll be damned if I know how they do it. This stuff dries quickly enough that for me, it's not enough time to spread the glue all over the head and to make sure that the beard lines are straight and all that kind of thing. But hey, to each his own. For me, it has other uses that I find very good. The last stuff I'd like to mention is, for paints anyway, this stuff here. This is just a cheapy Deco Art acrylic paint. You can get this at Hobby Lobby too. It's like $2 for a bottle of this. I mixed this with a little bit of red and a little bit of white to get the scar color for the G.I. Joes, and it works pretty good. It'll scrape off if you're messing with it, but for the most part it stays put pretty well. But it's not as high a quality as some of the other paints that I showed you. But again, it's useful in some situations, and obviously it comes in colors other than pink. Another glue. This stuff I get at Hobby Lobby too. This is one of the best super glues I've ever used. The gel, it's a gel texture, and it squirts pretty good, and it also sticks very well to most things that I've tried to use it on. Works on, like most super glues, it'll work on wood, it'll work on plastic, it'll work on metals. Good stuff, and it's not expensive either. And all it takes is a little dab of this stuff. I use a lot of it for my talker repairs. I use it for fixing barrels on guns, you know, when I'm repairing weapons, all kinds of stuff. Anyhow, this is the best super glue I've ever used. Try it, you won't be disappointed. A few other things that I use regularly in my fixing. Plain old acetone. Takes the head right off of PHs when you're ready to when you want to repaint them. It's also good in small doses, very sparingly, to remove dirt from a figure's face. Some stains won't come off no matter what you do, but this stuff gets a lot of that off. However, it'll take paint off like now. So be very careful if you do choose to use this. Plain old rubbing alcohol. Again, good stuff. Works well. It's good for cleaning. It's very good for cleaning the voice tapes and the springs on talkers. Cheap, obviously. But here's the secret weapon for removing flack. Some people might drink this stuff. I use it to take G.I. Joe hair off. It's nearly 100% alcohol, so it works pretty damn good as a solvent for that. All right. That is pretty much all I got for you guys today. Thanks for listening to me ramble on. I hope some of the things that I showed you were useful, interesting, or helpful. And some of the things I complained about and bitched about, maybe you agree, maybe you don't. Let me know in the comments. Again, if I get a good reaction to this, I'll do it again. This is the second time I've done this. And thanks for watching. Merry Christmas. I hope you guys all have a great holiday. And we'll see you next time for another random ramble.